Hi everyone, welcome to this month's We've Got the Keys Mortgage Talk with the Broad Squad. Today we're on location in beautiful Bushnell's Basin at Abbott's, enjoying ice cream and the beautiful weather. We thought it would be fun to take you out on location for this month. We're going to kick off our monthly discussion with some credit talk, but first we got broad banter. Okay, so for broad banter this month, we got to know what's your go-to Abbott's and what's been going on with you for the last month. Tina, kick it off.
All right, I will. So I already ate it, and it was delicious. My go-to Abbott's is vanilla with rainbow sprinkles all the time.
Wow.
I'm an old woman,
Yeah.
but that's what I have to have them. And as far as this past month, I'm actually, it has nothing to do with mortgages. I apologize. I'm prepping for my kids' art club. It's called Doodle Academy. And we're rolling it out next month, which I'm so excited about. So we're doing it, it's for the first year, so we're doing it out on my back deck.
That's great.
And
That'd be
your
fun.
wonderful son helped me put up a pergola. So I have nice shade back there, and I've just been
Nice.
gathering all our supplies, and we're going to have a ton of fun and make lots of messes and
It'll be
beautiful
so
art all
fun.
together.
Yeah, how
So
fun.
I'm so excited. So
Yay.
that's what I've been doing.
That's a new business
Can you-
venture.
it is, and mortgages.
Are you
So
going to open that up to adults too?
maybe someday. Right now, I like kids better. Unless you're buying a house, then I like you. All right.
Well, that
Laura.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
My mom's favorite ice cream was black raspberry, so it's always what I order when I come to Abbott's, and I love it, and it reminds me of my mom, so it's fun. The last month has been really busy with mortgages and really busy with home equity lines of credit and 4th of July parties, and I've been reading lots of great books. You know, coming off the 4th of July holiday, everybody's like, "What'd you do for the holiday weekend?" They're expecting some major announcement or something, and I'm like, I read 2 really good books and I went to 1 party. And that's exactly how I want my holiday weekend to be.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I
What's
agree.
new with you, Suzanne?
Oh,
And
well,
what's your favorite Abbott's?
I'm torn. My real favorite is the turtle, and it's got to be the vanilla with the fudge and the peanuts. So that's my favorite go-to. However, chocolate almond is also my favorite. So today I went with chocolate almond with sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles, of
Oh,
course.
good
So-
for you.
Yeah.
So yes, that's my go-to. And anyways, but ever since a kid, the turtles were what I wanted.
Yeah, they are
Just
good.
love it all into one. It's a sundae and a stick.
Yep. Sunday and a
It's a
stick.
sundae and a stick.
That's
right?
great.
Yeah.
So tell us.
What's your favorite?
So my favorite Abbott's go-to is always chocolate almond. Love chocolate almond. Gotta have it in a cone. No dish. Want a cone all the time.
All the
But
mess.
yes, chocolate almond is the best. Well, June was busy a little bit for work, which was nice, but I got a little bit of a getaway with my husband to Florida for a few days, which was very nice. We had to go visit the mouse for a few days and
The mouse.
have some fun running around the parks, which was great.
How's Mickey and Minnie? They're
Mickey
doing
and
good?
Minnie are great. They're doing okay. Very hot down there. But it was nice because we came home to hot weather, and it's about time we have some hot pool weather.
Yes.
Yes.
Love me some hot pool weather. 4th of July was great. I did nothing. Usually I have a big party. I had nothing. I floated in the pool, and I finally read the book, The Woman in Cabin 10, which was really popular several summers ago.
Yeah.
And I've had it for a while, so I finally cracked it open, and it was good. Very good. I highly recommend that book if you haven't read it. So,
love it.
yeah.
Great. So what are we talking about today?
So we are talking about credit today, which is always such a great topic of discussion, wouldn't you say? I mean,
I would say so.
Credit,
Well,
canal,
yes.
ice cream.
Yep, most of our clients are always very interested in credit tips, tricks, how to improve, all of that. So we're going to talk about that today. And Tina's going to kick us off with a little bit of what a credit score is.
So I'll start
Take it
by
away.
just reading the basic definition. So your credit, in its simplest form, it's the ability to borrow and access goods and services with the understanding that you'll pay for them later. It's essentially an agreement that it's between a lender and the borrower, where you're allowed to borrow, buy what you need, and then pay it back. Sometimes with interest, sometimes not if you pay the whole thing. And this is really what helps to make up your credit score. It's the usage of that individual credit and how you're using it. And there's different types. There's the revolving debt, which is the credit card. There are fixed loans, fixed debt, so a car loan, obviously your mortgage, those types of things. Sometimes unsecured loans, which mean there's nothing that they're using to lien collateral. Thank you. So all of those things together make up your credit score, and that's a whole other area that we're going to dig into a little bit. Everybody's like, what's my score? What's my score? There are 3 main credit bureaus that we utilize: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and each one of them has their own, I would say,
Algorithm.
Yeah, algorithm as to how they come up with your score. A good score, honestly, anything 700 and above is good. 680 and above is not horrible. We are allowed to do mortgages with anything that's 620 and above. Great scores are when you get closer to the 800.
I have 2 people that are applying. Whose credit is going to be used for that?
Great question. So when we have a couple on an application, we will take all 6 of their scores, 3 each, and then we end up using the lowest middle score. So if you've got somebody who's 800s and then you've got somebody who's 600s, we're going to be using that 600. So there's strategies to get around that, and we discuss that all in our meetings. Everybody's so different. So
Now we have myths and facts, which Laura's going to take away with.
So, credit is one of the mysteries of the world, right? And customers have so many questions about credit.
Yes.
We always talk with them, and everyone's credit history looks different. There's no cookie cutter formula for everyone's advice is the same. Everyone's credit history is different. How they utilize credit history is different. How they pay it is different. So all of the credit topics that we talk about today, the best way to ask questions about your credit and to research your credit is to call one of your mortgage loan officers at Genesee Regional Bank. Tina, Bonnie, Suzanne, or I. And we're happy to talk with you about what your credit report looks like, things you can do to improve your credit report. Sometimes people think they're trying to improve their credit report on their own, and they're actually damaging it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't find what you need from the internet, right? The internet's a great source of things if you're buying a pair of shoes or if you're buying a purse or if you're buying something, but there's a lot of information. I'll give you an example. This morning I was reading some news, and there's this big topic about how your rent payment should count as credit for you to buy a mortgage. And while that is somewhat true, there's lots of other different factors that go into a bank's decision to approve you for a mortgage. It's not just can you pay your rent.
Right.
So, you can go online and you can read this information, but it really doesn't capture the whole story.
what happens when someone calls you and says, Laura, I just pulled my credit and my score is such and such.
Yeah.
Do you have to repull my credit?
Yeah. If we're going to lend you our money, we have to use our credit report. We use a very specific type of credit report. It's a tri-merged credit report. And we use a different scoring model than the consumer side. So if a consumer pulls their own credit report and then the bank pulls a credit report, those numbers can look a little bit different because they're different scoring models. We can't use another bank's credit report. We can't use a credit report that you gave us off the internet.
No.
And very candidly, although we'd love to help you with a mortgage, we really can't do anything without a credit report. It's like going to Abbott's and forgetting your wallet. You can't do anything at Abbott's.
Right.
You can't get an ice cream. You can't get a turtle.
Right.
You'll stand there hungry if you don't have your wallet. So a credit report is the same thing.
And it's pretty easy to establish a score.
It is.
Really,
Yeah,
if you get a secured credit card and you've had it for a couple of months, you'll have a score already.
Within 3 to 6
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of myths on credit. One of their myths is paying off a collection will remove that from your credit report. A lot of customers think, well, if I pay it off, it'll go away. Well, if you pay it off, it'll show it's at a zero balance, but it will still show up as a paid collection. Paid collections are kind of lazy in reporting. You can pay a collection off, and sometimes it won't report that it's paid.
Right.
So sometimes there's a little bit of extra work that you need to do. We'll direct you on how to do that. One other myth is that if you check your credit, it will lower your score.
Right.
Not always.
Right.
And then another myth is that you have to have no debt to have a good credit score. Not true.
Right.
You can have a mortgage, you can have a car loan, you can have credit cards. As long as everything's paid as agreed, and as long as your revolving credit is under 30% of the credit limit, that's usually the way that you achieve the best credit score.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that you have to pay off your debt. We certainly don't want you to close your accounts.
No.
A lot of customers
People
close
think
their
that.
credit cards because they think that will look better, but
Right.
actually it stymies your
Yes.
ability to get to a
Yes.
higher credit score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up next on our credit list?
I've got some tips to boost your credit.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting. We need a lot of this. Sometimes.
Yes. So here's some tips to boost your credit or to create credit, because if you don't have any credit, as we talked about, that's very bad because you are unable to get a mortgage without any form of credit. So the secured credit card is a great way to start building your credit. And like we said, after a couple of months, you will have a score. Now, the biggest thing for me that I always tell people is if you're getting a secured credit card to establish credit, what you want to do is use the card. I always suggest maybe for gas or groceries, do not charge more than 33% of the line that is given to you, and do not charge something on the card and go home and pay it off right away.
No.
Because it will look like you are not utilizing the credit. The balance on the card has to report to the credit reporting agencies to show that you are utilizing the card. So wait till the bill comes in the mail and then pay it off. And that will definitely start creating your credit score, and it will also boost your credit score. You need to have a variety of credit on your credit report too. We've talked about installment debts, which are mortgages, car loans, recreational vehicles, student loans, revolving debt. These are all important components of your credit report, but I would say the most important one is the revolving debt, because the utilization of credit that is reoccurring is very, very important. That will boost your score more than any installment debt will. But installment debt is also important, and the student loan debts are very important because most often those are the first debts that people receive in their life, and if you pay them late or you don't handle them properly, it can really damage your credit score significantly. If you have very little credit or are still starting to establish credit, some people are doing self-reporting on utility bills such as RG&E. Those won't count against your debt to income ratio, which is something we talked about last month, so you can go visit that video about debt to income ratio. But it will help with your score, building your score. And I've had more clients doing that lately
me too.
with those. The other tip is, if you don't have much credit, don't start establishing a lot of credit in a short period of time. You need to do it methodically over a period of time. We look at credit inquiries on the report in the last 4 months, and if you've had a lot of credit inquiries in the last 4 months, this is what drags your score down.
Yes.
So having your credit report pulled for a mortgage and not having it pulled by anybody else in the last 4 months is not going to impact you negatively.
What if my mom asked me as an authorized user on my credit?
You must have been reading my mind.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That is definitely beneficial, and that could really boost a score up very quickly. However, if you do not have any other credit on your credit report, just an authorized user trade line is not going to be sufficient enough to get a mortgage. You're going to have to get one of your own as well, but adding you on to somebody else's will definitely help bring your credit up. As long as mom doesn't keep a large balance on the credit card, right?
Time,
Right.
it can still affect
Yes.
your score.
Now, there's lots of other resources out there for you to monitor your credit with, and Suzanne's going to talk a little bit about those.
I'm going to try anyways.
Yes.
I did look up some information on the internet. The internet is sometimes helpful just to kind of get some ideas of maybe some of those tools that you can put in your toolbox to use to help you with your credit. So if you're getting ready to get qualified for a future purchase, you know, like Bonnie mentioned, you can always go and check your own credit report through annualcreditreport.com. You can pull one of your reports for each Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax one time a year for free. You don't need to pay for that score because it's not going to always be the same as what the bank is going to pull. But at least, like Bonnie mentioned, it'll give you an idea of what you have out there and if you need to clean up any derogatory credit. So I'm sure we've all heard of Credit Karma.
Yes, we have.
Now again, Credit Karma can be a good tool, but it's not always going to be the score of which your lender is going to pull.
Suzanne,
Why?
Credit Karma says my credit score is 700. Why do you say my credit score is 600?
That's wrong.
Wow!
Why is it different?
To you. Well, basically, as I believe it was Tina that mentioned, the bureaus, they use different calculations behind the scenes of what they are looking at, which impacts that score. So Credit Karma, they use what is called the Vantage score model. Now they've changed that through the years. Years ago it used to be a range from 300 to 900. Well, we all know we don't have 900 scores.
No.
So they have recently brought that down to be more realistic, where now their highest score is 850. But what they do is they mainly use the TransUnion bureau, and that's what they use for their model. So that sometimes is the reason why your score might be different as the bank, because we're going to pull all three. And the other thing with Credit Karma, and I have to go to my sheet here, I just want to kind of explain how the ranges are. So know how we were talking about a 600 score or 670 score is not the greatest when you're looking at a FICO. But under Credit Karma, the way they have them buckets, their scores, that could be a good score. So the difference between what a lender pulls and what you might be seeing on those tools that you're using to help with your credit, they're going to be different. And when we pull that credit report, we're going to be able to sit down and share with you, you know, the difference, and then you could actually bring up, I've had people bring theirs up on their own phone, and they can see the difference. So when we have a client in whose credit we're trying to get increased for that mortgage, we're going to focus on maybe one of those scores because we can't focus on them all, and we're going to run a report behind the scenes, and it's going to let us tell the client of what they should either pay down or even open up. I had a person one time had no scores. We were just talking about that. And he was dumbfounded because he has Credit Karma and it was showing like a 7, I think it was like a 780 score.
Wow. Yeah.
And I said to him, I go, well, this is funny because I'm showing you've closed everything out within the last 2 years.
Oh.
I used Credit Expert and I put in there a brand new credit card with like a $25 balance. And what that did was, as Laura mentioned, when you close everything out, you think you're doing good. It puts your credit asleep per se, right?
Yeah.
And so that new credit card woke up his credit, and he had, no lie, an 810 score.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Suzanne, do all lenders allow their loan officers to use a credit expert or a simulation like that?
No, they don't. And GRB has been very generous with giving the tools for their loan officers and paying for those type of resources so we can put our buyers in the best position.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Because obviously, as experienced loan officers, we are pretty good at guesstimating what you need to do.
Yes.
But it's so nice to have that backup. And
In
it gives you-
writing.
In writing, a little report, a checklist of things you have to do.
Exactly.
It's fantastic. So
It
once
is.
you have that, and I can't tell you how many of my buyers, I'm sure you guys run into that as well, are so grateful because they'll go
didn't
other
know how to
places.
do it.
They didn't.
Yes.
People are just like,
Yes.
go fix your credit and come back and see me when it's fixed.
Right.
They have no
Yes.
idea what
No.
they're doing.
No.
So
So we've talked a little bit about some situations where we were able to improve customers' scores. We have lots of stories about how we've been able to do that over the years. But credit is definitely an important thing and definitely worth a discussion with your loan officer for sure.
It's the most important piece of the mortgage
It is.
conversation.
It is the
really,
most
really
important
is.
piece. Yes, yes. So we have enjoyed being out in Bushnell's Basin this month. Please like and subscribe, and we're going to pick what we're going to do next month now.
Our wheels.
Our wheels.
Okay. Do the topic first.
all right, ready?
Yeah.
And it is mortgage myths.
Oh,
Mortgage myths.
Okay.
well, that could be a lot of
It could be a lot of things.
Now this is our activity. So now we have names on our, and we're gonna, whoever lands is gonna pick
it
the
on
next
me.
one.
You landed on you.
don't
What's
know.
going to be our activity?
What do you think? Going to the golf, the driving
Yes.
Driving range.
range.
Yes. We'll take
little
advantage of the
Awesome.
good weather
And
again.
you guys
Awesome.
can laugh at our strokes. 'Cause that'll be good.
Something we haven't done a lot this year is golf.
No.
No, we have not. We definitely need
All
to
right,
get
so
into
driving
the tournament.
range
Driving
and
range.
mortgage myths.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Woo.
you, everybody. Have a
Bye.
wonderful July. See you in August.
We got the
Bye.
keys.
We've got the keys.